Data mining, which has ruined just about every secret in WoW for the past 15 years, has just data mined another massive secret. And this one is in Season of Discovery. We just had a massive new mega dungeon in Season of Discovery data mined. And that dungeon is the Burning of Andorhal. That's right. Now, many of you may not know what that name actually is. And I'm going to explain the significance of this dungeon, because Andorhal is where Arthas finally ended the Lordaeron Empire. It is the resting place and the tomb of one of the most important Alliance characters in all of Warcraft's history. This is where Uther the Lightbringer was slain by Arthas in the Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne mission. We are going back in time to Warcraft 3, and we are going to go through the mission events leading from Arthas invading Lordaeron, sieging Andorhal, fighting Uther, killing him, and destroying Lordaeron. He also resurrects Kel'Thuzad in this mission in Warcraft 3, but that's a different thing. Well, he doesn't resurrect Kel'Thuzad, he grabs Kel'Thuzad's soul, and then a lot of other things happen, but we're not covering that in this video. So let's discuss not just the Burning of Andorhal, we're going to discuss Uther the Lightbringer's legendary hammer becoming a legendary weapon in Season of Discovery. That's right, not just a new legendary weapon, one of the first iconic and unique weapons in years, especially since Legion. And not only is this legendary mace a two-handed mace, but it has a special effect. It turns into a one-handed mace so you can use it with a shield. So not only can melee classes use it, for example warriors and paladins, but also tanks. So this is pretty much everybody's best legendary. At least so far. They may tweak and change the stats, but I'm not going to be covering the legendary weapon itself in this video. I might make another one on that, but there's probably going to be 75 videos by the morning talking about this legendary weapon. But we're going to be discussing everything, the lore, the story, and what this means for Classic and Season of Discovery. So let's talk, let's discuss, and let's cook. And to start right off the bat, we are going to be talking about instance technology that was given to us by incursions. That's right, one of the most cursed, hated, and reviled features in all of Season of Discovery, perhaps all of WoW, is the reason we are unlocking this iconic and amazing instance, the Burning of Andorhal. But this also means that we are also getting the Caverns of Time. Now, I have to be clear about this. The Caverns of Time likely isn't going to be in Season of Discovery Phase 4 or Phase 5. I'm not sure if Blackwing Lair and ZJ has its own phase, or it's just the 0.5 of Phase 4. In my personal opinion, I think Caverns of Time is coming in a future phase, or maybe they're saving it for Classic Plus. And how we're going to get into the Burning of Andorhal and these other two dungeons which travel back in time or to other parts of Azeroth's history is going to be something similar to Chromie, or the quest line to unlock Demonfall Canyon, where you get a trinket or a key of some kind, and then that key and trinket allows you to unlock a portal which teleports you to an alternate version of that location. So like I said, you do a quest, you unlock this key, and then you're good to cook from there on out. And like I said, this alternate location in this instance is Andorhal. And Andorhal is situated in the Western Plaguelands, the breadbasket of the Lordaeron Empire. It's where Kel'Thuzad started his plague, which spread all across the land and made so many cities get infected, from Stratholme to Lordaeron's north to Lordaeron's south. The undead plague was spread through Andorhal. In fact, if you remember some of the first Warcraft 3 missions in the Reign of Chaos, it deals with Andorhal and the plague. Now, like I said, the lore for this is intense, amazing, and very, very deep, and I'm not doing a 2-hour video right now, maybe in the future. But essentially, Andorhal is a very important and unique location. It's where the Alliance makes its final stand against Arthas, and sadly, it's where they lose. It is the crushing blow where after Arthas killed his father, he then kills Uther. Now, since I said that Uther dies here, this dungeon location is very likely not just going to be a small dungeon, but it's going to be a mega dungeon. And I personally expect it to be the entirety of the Western Plaguelands, which means you have to travel, for example, Blackrock Depths. Many people play it, many people know what that is. But Blackrock Depths is a multifaceted, multi-level dungeon. It could essentially be 3 or 4 dungeons depending on how you split it. And I see the Burning of Andorhal being the same. I expect it to be a Northern Andorhal and a Southern Andorhal. For example, the siege of the city and the way to the city. Now, I don't know exactly how much manpower the devs are putting into this, but Andorhal itself is a ginormous city. It's huge. And then you also have Scholarmans and all these other parts and things that play into the storyline of Andorhal. So just right off the bat, look at some of these images I'm putting on screen and then take a look at this model of Arthas. As you guys can see, this is all in Season of Discovery right now. Here, look at the legendary weapon one more time. I showed it to you earlier, but just take another look at it. The devs are cooking. Now, I have to be kind of clear, there's going to be a lot of data mining in the coming weeks, especially as the hype for Blackwing Lair and the hype for Phase 4 starts building and building and building. I think Season of Discovery is only going to get bigger and bigger when people realize it is not an abandoned game mode. Season of Discovery is not dead. Season of Discovery is growing and they're adding more and more content. Now, these new dungeons may not be that great in theory. They may be kind of mid when they do come out. But the amount of effort the devs are putting into creating unique storylines and things that are just innate to that classic ecosystem, it gives me hope. I know a lot of people think Classic Plus is going to be a failure or a bad thing because the Blizzard devs touch it, but I have faith in the Blizzard devs. The fact that they're not just abandoning Sod and working on Classic Plus in the back end, but they're adding a lot of new stuff to Season of Discovery, come on guys. I know the devs have made mistakes, but this is looking good. But again, Sod is in deep experimental mode right now. The Mega-Dungeon Andorhal is just the first step, and we're very likely going to get the Caverns of Time as that next big step. Because they can't change the story, Chris Metzen may not have approved the story changes, but they're allowed to revisit old events, old storylines. If they're redoing Andorhal as a dungeon, and they're redoing other locations, we might get to see the Troll Wars, we might get to see the Null Wars, we might get to see the Ahn'Qiraj Wars. We might even get to see the Akiri Troll Wars from 15,000 years ago, where the Troll Empires pushed back all four Qiraji. Well, the Qiraji are the Ahn'Qiraj, but then you have the Nerubians and etc. There's a lot of different versions of the old god minions. There are so many events and storylines that the devs are now going to explore because they've essentially clearly been given green light to explore the past, not the future. But let's get back to Andorhal. As you guys know, I showed you the legendary weapon, which makes me think that we either have to kill Uther because we are following the Scourge's mission because we can't change the timeline, we have to enact its finish. So we go back in time, we travel alongside Arthas, we help him kill off all the Alliance, and that also makes it a very unique and interesting thing because this may be one of the very few times in all of World of Warcraft's history where you get to fight and kill the Alliance. That very, very rarely happens. Most of the time, the Alliance is the one killing the Horde. So the fact that it's a reverse on that, I think that's kind of cool. Now, I'm not saying that is what it is. I just think it will be because it makes sense. If we are unlocking Uther's legendary, how does that work if we are burning Andorhal? Or perhaps it's from the point of view of Uther losing. If you guys remember the Warcraft 3 mission, you keep retreating and retreating and retreating until you get to Uther. Because Arthas is pushing Uther's men back and back until he gets to Uther, then he kills Uther, and then the rest of the Warcraft lore happens. But I personally don't want it to be from the perspective of us losing and taking steps back and back and back against Arthas's onslaught. I want it to be from the perspective of being on the Scourge's side, destroying the Paladins, pushing up to Uther, and then defeating Uther to unlock the questline to start the forging of Uther's hammer, or just unlock the questline to be able to wield Uther's hammer. But we will find out more in the coming weeks. But I am betting that with all of these 3 new dungeons, we are likely getting some new event that connects us to alternate or past timelines, and that everything is going to be interconnected in some way. If you look on the screen right now, you'll see a model of Manaroth. Now, there are going to be more and more models, and by the time this video is out, some of this information may be slightly outdated, but the conversation is there. We are going back in time, over and over and over again, and this is just the beginning. So I'm going to end the dungeon here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think this new mega dungeon is cool? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a shit idea? Do you think that devs should do something else? I want to hear people's thoughts on these Caverns of Time-esque alternate timelines or past timelines. Nonetheless, I'm going to be doing a full-on lore breakdown about the Caverns of Time, what that means for Classic, what that means for Classic Plus, and what that means for Season of Discovery. So subscribe to see that. And if you guys hated this video, subscribe and hate the next one. Be a dedicated hater, don't half-ass that shit. Thank you all for watching, Ebonheart out.